Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, the show that unpacks the amazing and sometimes confusing world around us. I am your host, and today we're diving headfirst into a revolution that's happening right before our eyes. Imagine this. You have an idea for a breathtaking painting, a majestic castle floating in a purple nebula, guarded by a dragon made of crystal. A few years ago, you'd need to be a highly skilled artist and spend weeks, maybe months, bringing that to life. Today, you can just type it. You type those words into a box on your computer, and in seconds, a stunning, original image appears on your screen. This is the world of generative artificial intelligence. It's a new era of creation, one where complex algorithms can compose music that moves you, write prose that makes you think, and generate art that is, frankly, breathtaking. This technological leap has sparked incredible excitement and innovation. The market for this AI-generated art is exploding, projected to be worth over $2.5 billion by 2029. But it has also brought us to a critical moment, forcing us to confront some of the most profound legal and ethical questions of our time. As machines become creators, we have to ask, what does this mean for authorship, for originality, and for the very soul of art itself? Today, we're going on a journey through this new frontier. We'll explore the legal battlegrounds where copyright law is being put to the test, and then we'll navigate the ethical maze of bias, privacy, and the future of human creativity. So grab your headphones, because we're about to untangle the complex, fascinating, and controversial world of AI art. All right, let's start with the lawyers, because whenever there's a new technology that makes a lot of money, you can be sure a lot of legal questions are not far behind. At the very heart of the debate is one fundamental, mind-bending question. Can a work created by an artificial intelligence be copyrighted? Who owns AI art? The answer, at least for now, is surprisingly complicated, and it all comes down to a single concept: human authorship. For centuries, copyright law all around the world has been built on a simple foundation: protecting original works created by humans. It's a system designed to give creators, people, exclusive rights to their work. This gives them an economic incentive to write new books, compose new songs, and paint new pictures. The U.S. Copyright Office, which is the ultimate authority on this in the United States, has been very clear and consistent on this point. In a report from January 2025, they reaffirmed their long-standing position: a work must be created by a human to be protected under the Copyright Act. So, what does that mean in practice? It means if you go to an AI image generator like Midjourney or DALL-E, type in a simple text prompt like "a cat wearing a cowboy hat," and just take the first image the AI spits out, that image cannot be copyrighted. It falls directly into the public domain. Anyone can use it for any reason without your permission. You can immediately see the problem this creates, especially for businesses. Imagine you're a marketing firm and you use an AI to generate a brilliant new logo for a client. Or you're a game developer creating character art. If that content isn't legally protected by copyright, you don't really own it. A competitor could swoop in and use the exact same logo or character, and you'd have no legal recourse. This uncertainty is a huge deal for creative industries that are starting to rely on these powerful new tools. But, of course, it's not always that simple. This is where the line starts to get incredibly blurry. What about scenarios of hybrid authorship, where AI is used more like a tool to assist a human creator? The Copyright Office says that works that contain AI-generated material can still be copyrighted, but only if they include a sufficient amount of human creativity. The key factor is the level of human intervention. It's the difference between being a director and just being a member of the audience. For example, let's say an artist generates an image with AI, but then they take it into Photoshop, heavily modify it, change the colors, composite it with other elements, and add their own digital brushstrokes. That final, modified work might be copyrightable, but here's the catch. the protection would only extend to the parts the human added, not the original AI-generated bits. Or imagine a graphic novelist who uses an AI to generate individual panels, but they carefully select, crop, arrange, and write dialogue for those panels to tell a unique story. The creative arrangement and storytelling, the human contribution, could be protected. This creates a real dilemma for artists. Do they disclose that they used AI, knowing that parts of their work might then be considered unprotected? Or do they keep it secret? It's a case-by-case mess. And right now, the line between what counts as a tool versus a creator is a subject of intense legal debate that will likely be settled in the courts over the next few years. And that brings us to the biggest legal flashpoint of all, the training data. Where do these AI models learn to create a cat in a cowboy hat in the style of Picasso? They learn it by being fed truly mind-boggling amounts of data. We're talking millions, sometimes billions, of images, texts, and artworks, all scraped from the internet. And a huge portion of that data is protected by copyright. This has led to a massive wave of high-profile lawsuits. Artists, authors, and major media companies are suing the big AI developers, arguing that using their work to train a commercial AI model without permission is a form of mass copyright infringement. They argue that these AI systems were basically designed to copy their life's work, allowing any user to generate new images that mimic their unique, hard-earned artistic styles. Some AI companies have even been accused of keeping internal lists of artists whose styles their models are particularly good at replicating. So, what's the defense from the AI companies? They often turn to a legal concept called, quote, fair use. Fair use is a part of copyright law that allows the limited use of copyrighted material without permission for purposes like criticism, news reporting, and research. The AI developers argue that using copyrighted works for training is, quote, transformative. They claim they aren't just reselling the original images, they're using them to create something entirely new, the AI algorithm itself. The courts haven't made a final decision on whether training an AI constitutes fair use. It's a legal gray area the size of a continent. This uncertainty has pushed some AI companies, like OpenAI, to start signing multi-million-dollar licensing deals with publishers and photo agencies to get legitimate access to their content. It's a way of avoiding the legal battle altogether, but the fundamental question remains unanswered, and it's a battle that will shape the future of both copyright and artificial intelligence. Okay, so the legal landscape is a minefield, but let's step away from the courtroom for a moment and wander into the ethical maze, because the questions here are just as challenging, and they cut to the core of our societal values and our very understanding of creativity. First up, algorithmic bias. An AI model is not some objective, godlike creator. It is a mirror, reflecting the data it was trained on. And if that data is full of our own human societal biases, the AI will learn them, and often amplify them. This has led to some deeply problematic results. We've seen AI image generators produce skewed and stereotypical representations of gender, race, and culture. For example, if you prompt an AI to create an image of a doctor, it might overwhelmingly generate images of men. Prompt it for a nurse, and you'll likely see women. This happens because the model was trained on millions of existing images from our society, which already contains these biases. Experts warn that this doesn't just reflect our world, it can actively reinforce harmful stereotypes and perpetuate societal norms. The problem runs even deeper. Studies have found that some AI systems are less accurate at identifying the faces of women and people of color. This isn't because the AI is racist in a human sense, it's a data problem. It's rooted in historical biases within photography and the data sets used for training, which have historically underrepresented non-white, non-male faces. Fixing this isn't easy. It requires a conscious, deliberate effort to find, curate, and build diverse and representative training datasets, and to constantly audit these AI systems for bias. Next, let's talk about privacy. The voracious appetite of these AI models for data creates some pretty significant privacy risks for all of us. You might remember some of those viral trends on social media, like the Studio Ghibli-style filter that turned your selfies into beautiful, anime-style portraits. It seems harmless and fun, but cybersecurity experts have been sounding the alarm. When you use these apps, you often grant them incredibly broad access to your photo library. Buried deep in the vague terms of service you probably didn't read is language that might allow these companies to use your personal photos for pretty much anything they want, including training other AI models, perhaps even surveillance models. And there's always the risk of a data breach. If a company that has a copy of your face gets hacked, your images could be stolen and used to create deepfakes, for identity fraud, or for other malicious purposes. This has led to a growing pushback from the public and from creators, who are demanding more transparency and more control over how their personal and creative data is used. We're starting to realize that our faces, our photos, and our art are all just data to be scraped, and we need to be more careful about who we give it to. This brings us to what might be the most profound and philosophical debate of all: the future of human creativity itself. What is the role of the human artist in a world where an algorithm can create infinite art? For many, art is a uniquely human endeavor. It's rooted in emotion, in lived experience, in struggle, and in intention. These are qualities that an algorithm, no matter how sophisticated, simply cannot replicate. From this perspective, the rise of AI art is a threat. It sparks fears that it could devalue human creativity and displace artists. If you can generate an image in the style of any artist, living or dead, in a matter of seconds, does that diminish the value of the years of practice, the unique vision, and the personal story that define a human artist's work? It's a valid and deeply felt concern. However, there's another way to look at this, and it's a view that's gaining a lot of traction. This view suggests that the future isn't a competition between humans and AI, but a collaboration. Many people see AI not as a replacement, but as an incredibly powerful new tool that can augment and expand human creativity. Think of it like the invention of the camera, which didn't destroy painting but instead freed painters to explore abstraction and expression in new ways. AI can handle the repetitive, time-consuming tasks. It can generate thousands of ideas and variations in minutes, opening up entirely new avenues for artistic exploration that were previously impossible. In this symbiotic relationship, the AI is the one that manages the data, recognizes the patterns, and executes the complex generation. But the human is the one who provides the creative vision, the ethical judgment, the emotional depth, and the story. The human is the curator, the director, the soul of the machine. So we've navigated the legal quagmires and the ethical mazes. Where does all of this leave us? What is the path forward? It's important to remember that we are in the very early days of this technological revolution. It's a revolution that is fundamentally reshaping not just art, but all creative industries. Our legal and ethical frameworks were built for a different world, a world where only humans could create. They simply weren't designed for an age where machines can produce a novel or a symphony. Moving forward responsibly is going to require a multifaceted approach. First, policymakers and the courts have a huge job ahead of them. They need to work to adapt our existing laws, or, more likely, create entirely new ones that can address the unique challenges of AI. This means clarifying the rules around copyright ownership, defining what constitutes fair use in the context of training data, and protecting the rights of human creators. At the same time, the tech companies building these incredible tools have a massive responsibility. They need to be far more transparent about how their models are trained and what data they're using. They need to invest heavily in identifying and mitigating bias, and they need to build in robust privacy protections from the ground up, not as an afterthought. Ultimately, however, the path forward must be guided by a collective commitment to balancing innovation with the protection of human rights and human creativity. We need to embrace the incredible potential of these tools to solve problems and unlock new forms of expression, but we can't do that at the expense of the very things that make us human. As we continue to integrate these powerful AI systems into our lives, we must not lose sight of the irreplaceable value of the human touch. The intuition, the vulnerability, the lived experience, the happy accidents, the intentionality, these are the things that give art its enduring power and its meaning. An AI can replicate a style, but it can't replicate a soul. It can generate an image, but it can't have a reason for doing so. The future of art isn't an algorithm. It's a conversation between human vision and machine capability. And that is a future that is both exciting and full of incredible possibility. And that's our deep dive for today here on GFunFacts Online. The rise of AI art is one of the most exciting and disruptive stories of our time, and we've only just scratched the surface. So what do you think? Is AI a revolutionary new tool for artists? Is it a collaborator? Or is it a threat to human creativity? The answers aren't simple, and your perspective matters. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this journey. Remember to stay curious, keep asking big questions, and we'll catch you on the next episode of GFunFacts Online.